Thank you very much. Thank you, Rich. And hello, everybody. I have to say that in spite of the rain, nevertheless, you persisted, and I appreciate that. So first of all, thank you so much to the organizers for the opportunity to speak today. This is really an incredible thrill for me, and I couldn't be happier to be here. I'm here today as a scientist with a deep respect for the slow and careful process of conducting scientific research. I'm also a science communicator who values all the diverse perspectives that enrich our views of science and how we talk about its role in our society. And I'm one person out of about 7.5 billion on this planet right now who has benefited from modern science. And for all those reasons, I'm here to stand up for science today. I've devoted most of my life to science in one way or another, and although I'm no longer a researcher, I've spent enough years in the academic world to know that many of us scientists really struggle to communicate our science beyond the ivory tower. Scientists often seem to speak a different language, but we're not innately horrible at communicating. You know, we tell stories, we make jokes, some of us are better at this than others, and we have regular, engaging conversations with people all the time. But when it comes to talking about our science, sometimes a switch is thrown that can create a disconnect between scientists and non-scientists. This disconnect happens because we cling to the technical language of our specific fields. We make all sorts of caveats about our findings, and we assume people will be interested in all of our facts. But our greatest communications failure is that we don't emphasize why science matters to everyone. Our reluctance to tell interesting stories about science is a problem because it builds walls between those who study science for a living and those who live the science that is studied. But science is not just for scientists. We all need it to address the huge range of challenges we face in the 21st century, and we need to interest people from all walks of life, from all corners of the globe, in thinking about how science affects our lives. We are here today, then, to break down those walls. Whether we are scientists or teachers or electricians or students or accountants or whatever we are, we appreciate that science makes our lives better and it will make our grandchildren's lives better. This is why we're coming together all over the country and all over the world even today to do this. We're here to stand up and tell the elected representatives of this country, from town councils to the State House to the Oval Office and everyone in between, that we will not allow them to dismantle the institutions and scientific freedoms that have made the United States of America a global leader in scientific innovation. We're here to support the global enterprise of science and the free-flowing exchange of ideas among people with diverse perspectives, because that diversity strengthens our collaborations and makes our science more useful. We're here to stand up for government support of scientific research because it's a national service. We will not be quiet as politicians slash funding for scientific research across federal agencies like the EPA and the National Institutes of Health, crippling our ability to monitor climate change and water quality, advance medical science, and develop the engineering breakthroughs that will enable our clean energy future. And I don't know about you, but I'm here to tell the world that I will not be quiet when politicians claim to be the arbiters of good science. We're here, so I guess you agree. Okay, so we're here to tell ethically compromised bureaucrats that we will not accept their outdated and disproven mantra that we must choose jobs or the environment, nor will we allow them to threaten our health by recklessly basing environmental regulations on economic goals rather than responsible, science-based standards. And we refuse to accept science policy based on one person's tweets, and certainly not based on industry's desire to limit their obligations to protect workers' rights, the environment, or public health. All right, I know it's easy to make a list of complaints. I've done it a lot myself. So I want to leave you with some ideas for what we can do to proactively stand up for science. First, follow the advice of children's book author Andrea Beatty, who wrote Ada Twist Scientist. Read, question, and think. We must all commit to being critical thinkers. We're bombarded with confusing and even manipulative information every day, and we need to do the hard work of separating facts from spin. We also need to support the journalists and news outlets that are stepping up to keep us informed by providing clarity and context and serving as watchdogs in the public interest. Second, we need to commit to engaging new people in conversations about how science affects their lives. This might mean that you decide to write letters to the editor of your local paper about science issues that matter to you, or maybe you organize a science night at your local pub or at a Rotary. Or maybe it means you just start a conversation with your neighbor. Whatever it is, as you start these new conversations, find out what matters to the people you're reaching out to and have a dialogue about these issues in ways that are relevant to their lives. And then listen, we have to make progress, or we can't make progress, until we engage in two-way, meaningful conversations. Third, don't assume the evidence speaks for itself, because it doesn't, period. We all interpret information through our own lenses and experiences, and just because a person knows the facts, that doesn't mean they'll come to the same conclusions as you. Facts matter, but they're not enough. We need to appeal to values. And finally, I'm almost done, be patient. We've reached a moment of intense political division in this country, and we desperately need respectful dialogue. But we did not arrive at this moment overnight. It took time for us to get to this level of polarization. Likewise, it will take time for us to allow a discussion to bloom, especially with someone who sees the world differently. I know it can be hard to reach out beyond our safe circles of friends and family to have conversations with people whose worldviews might be very different. But why are we here today, if not to make a difference? Science should not be about politics, and it should not be about walls, whether those are the walls of the ivory tower or the walls created by poor communication. I read something yesterday that really resonated with me. This person wrote, "The brand of science is hope. That is, science is a source of optimism, a path to a better tomorrow." As we march today, as we plan our next steps after today, let's resolve to show the world that we stand for the best attributes of science: objectivity, inclusion, and respectful debate. And let's embrace the optimism of science. Thank you. Have a great day.